My name's Robert Spencer. I've had a spinal cord injury, I broke my neck, and I've survived it. My saying is, I'm just a bloke in a wheelchair doing his best, and that's all you can ask. And I love life, and I plan on doing this for a lot longer to come.
What Robert was like growing up, he was a pretty good kid. He liked all sports, played all sorts of sports. He had an apprenticeship, and of course he couldn't do that afterwards. And he used to like to go out on a trawler with his mate, out fishing, and he'd just play everything, pretty good kid. Average kid, I suppose, get into a bit of mischief, but all kids do. Think nothing will ever happen to them, but it just took a split minute and that was it. When I found out at first about Robert's injury, it was when I come home from the other son's football match, and there was a car in the driveway which wasn't ours, and I knew something had happened to Robert straight away, and it was a terrible feeling. And then they told me that I was wanted up to at the hospital, at the PA hospital, and I went up there and they told me straight away Robert would never walk again. It was a dreadful feeling. I'll never ever forget that.
I had a spinal injury 2 days before my 18th birthday. I knew nothing about spinal injuries. What I did, I was playing rugby league for North, we were playing South on a Friday night, went to tackle somebody, put my head in the wrong place, and he kneed me fair in the head and broke my neck. The doctors were at the game, they checked me out, they sent me to the spinal unit. There's one spinal unit in Queensland, just happened to be 5 minutes away at the PA hospital. To fix me up, they got these things called tongs, where they screwed one in my head here and one in there. A bar went around the other side. It had two 10-pound weights hanging off it, and they were there so I couldn't move my head so the bones of my neck would get better. They put me on a bed called a rotor bed where I lied on my back, I looked at the roof for 4 hours, then they put a bed on top of me, strapped me in and spun me over, looked at the floor for 4 hours. I was in that bed for 3 months. Machine x-rayed my neck, the bones got better. Then I spent another 7.5 months learning how to do things. The most support I had was from my mum. My mum was fantastic, still is. She came up to the hospital every day, brought me up food so I could survive. And even now, 38 years later, she still does heaps of stuff for me, like washing, ironing, cooking, all those sort of things. So I don't know if I would have been able to survive without all the help she gave me.
When I was supporting Robert, I went to the hospital every day to see him because he was a fussy kid. He wouldn't eat this and he wouldn't eat that because he was just 18, day off his 18th birthday. And I went every day. It was very tiring because I hadn't long learned to drive too, and to drive from our place to the PA hospital was quite an effort, I can tell you. But anyway, it was a long drawn out thing. You just had to do it and you seemed to do it.
Having a spinal injury is a lot harder than walking around. Everything I do takes a lot longer, so I don't just walk into the bedroom and jump on the bed. I gotta wheel in the bedroom, get up close to the bed, and I've got to lift my whole body, which is 3/4 of dead weight. Lift that up, put the legs on. Getting my jeans off, difficult. Getting my jeans on, difficult. You know, you people just do it automatically. You know, I get dressed lying on the bed, throw the jeans out, and I've got to lift my legs up and slide each in. Driving a car. Well, that's pretty easy, driving a car. The hard part is getting in. So you've got to get in, then you've got to put your wheelchair in. So you learn how to do that. So I've got to fold it up and put it in the back seat of my car. To drive the car is the easy bit. I've got hand controls, which is a bar about that wide, goes behind the steering wheel, a bar on the brake and one on the accelerator. I push it in for brake, I pull it back for accelerate. I drive an automatic. On the steering wheel I've got a knob so I get a better grip to steer. Yeah, you need your fingers and arms to do a lot of things, like lifting, picking up. But I've got one good hand, my right one's good, so I can get dressed. I can shower myself. The things I find hard is if you've dropped something and you've got to pick it up. Even though I can move my hand getting a grip, I can sort of only close it that much, so I can't fully close it, and that's my good hand, and that's the one that doesn't work that well. So with this one, I can pick some things up. This one I can pick most things. But having your hands not work is a really big one, you know, because you need your hands every day.
I used to watch him try to turn over a page, and he couldn't even turn a page of the paper over and that. And you'd watch other people and it'd turn over, and it was such an easy thing to turn a page over in the paper, but he couldn't turn a page over. He had to learn how to do it. He couldn't write. It was just like a little kid, you know, 2 or 3 learning to write. And he still can't write very well, but at least he tried when he was in hospital, and he can do a little bit of writing, but just little simple things. It's surprising with a spinal injury that they can't do anything like. It's a terrible thing to have to go through for a young person, for an old person too, you know, but for a young kid just starting off in life, it's terrible.
Well, I was an apprentice bookbinder at the time, and you need your hands to do bookbinding, and my hands were affected. They don't work that well. I couldn't do any of that again. Then I got into working at the football club on the door for a little while, but that wasn't really me. And luckily my friends were still playing football, and I could get out and do things with them. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I went up the spinal unit at the PA hospital, and one of the nurses there, Sister Harding, she put me onto the spinal education awareness team, where you go around to schools and tell them all about how not to have a spinal cord injury, and all about spinal cord injuries. And so that's what I've been doing now for over 20 years. Well, I don't do this job for awards. I do it because I like doing it, meeting all the students. I speak from, like yesterday I was speaking to a kindergarten where the students were 3, 4 and 5s. Today I spoke to students who were 17. So I speak from that age group. And we also do business talks, where we go out to business, tell them how important it is to be safe at work. Because, you know, when you go to work, you expect them to come home at 5 or 6 o'clock, not in 6 months' time in a wheelchair. So that's what the main message is about. You know, I've got a few awards, you know, the Lord Mayor's Australia Day Award and a few others, but you know, I don't do this for awards or anything. Like I say, I like doing it. It's great. I think all the students that I spoke to over 250,000 students. So I've never had any trouble with any of the students. All the students have been fantastic. So everything I do is a lot harder from walking people. You know, you look at me and I think, nothing wrong with me. If I wasn't in a wheelchair and I was just sitting in the chair, I'd be no different from anyone else.